piece of maple burl here, got it in between centers, and it's about 9 inches around, roughly, by about 4.5 inches thick, maybe a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm using a bowl gouge. I have the lathe speed about 500 or so right here, just until I get it true, and then I'll crank the speed up a little bit, and using a bowl gouge to get it trued up, and then I will just start shaping it. Or so here. So it is natural edge, and I'm going to go ahead and flip it around and hollow it out, but first thing I need to do is get the basic shape down and put a tenon down on the bottom of it. Before I flip it around, I'm going to run through all the grits, and I'm just going to run through these dry. So I ran all the way up to 600 with this, and I turned the lathe back and forth from forward reverse to kind of even out the natural edge part of it. Then I took it out of the chuck, and I took it out from in between centers, and I will remount it into the chuck here. And then we can get it cleaned out. Help support the companies that support our community. So I'm going to use a bowl gouge to clean out the inside of it, and this part is all natural edge right here, so I'm just taking my time and working down to solid wood. So once you start bringing down the wall thickness, you want to set that and not come back to it. Don't like take a cut down the wall thickness, and once you get it actually thin, and then come back and recut that, because the wood is actually flexing when it gets thin. So once you've got that set, just make a final pass on it. So this right here, you can see it's still pretty thick, and that's not my final pass on it. So it's not really flexing. But when I get it set, I don't come back to the top of it there, because it's really, there's a big chance that you could get a catch and just bust off a chunk of that. So once I have that set, I just start working my way down and don't come back out to the rim. So there were a couple little spots of bark left on there, so I have this little dental pick. So go, next time you're at the dentist, ask them if you can have a couple of these. They throw them away after a while. So they work fantastic for getting bark out of burl like this. Once I got all that cleaned up, went ahead and started running through the grits on the inside, And again, I ran through a couple of grits dry and then switched over at 320 and started with the oil. And the oil is the doctor's walnut oil. So I just squirt a little bit in the center, actually more than a little bit. It was maybe a little bit too much, but it's really, I just love the fact that it gets rid of the sanding dust and it gives it just, the wood, just a nice rich color. Nice, moved out to the outside and sanded all the way up to 600 with this. It just really brings out the color in the wood and just has that nice warm feeling with it. So once I wipe that off with paper towel, we'll go ahead and take it out of the chuck and put this little jam chuck. So I made this years ago, and it's just kind of a dome, and I use it for bowls like this all the time. And then you just put a little piece of that non-skid stuff on there, and it holds it on there nice and secure. And I use it all the time for things just like this. And then we'll bring the tailstock up and get that foot cleaned up. For cleaning the foot up, I'm going to use the #1 hollower. Just work that up, get rid of that material there, and then just kind of shape that right into the bottom of the bowl. Before I bring down that little point too much, I'm going to go ahead and run through all the grits, get this all sanded up. The actual, like the bottom of the bowl right there, or the lower part of the bowl, I'm going to sand that all the way up to 600, and not the inside or where the foot is. I'm going to finish that by hand after I get that little nub off, but I'm going to finish the rest of it while it's spinning. It's just a lot easier. We'll get that all cleaned up, and then I'll bring that little nub off, or turn that little nub off. And I went a little bit too far with that, and it popped loose, but luckily it didn't hit the tool rest and put a big dent in the side of it. So went ahead and hand sanded the foot, and then we'll put some more walnut oil on it. And I ran through all the grits again by hand up to 600, and then just wiped a coat of the walnut oil on. There we go, it's all done. So again, it is out of maple burl. It is just a beautiful piece of wood. It's burl all the way through it. It's about 3 inches tall, about 6.5 inches across, and 1/4 inch thick all the way down this side. So yeah, it was just a beautiful piece of wood and making great bowl. Some of the spikes in the center were kind of beat up a little bit, so I wasn't sure what to do with the piece of wood. But after getting it trued up, I went ahead and checked all the little spikes around it to make sure they were all clean and not smashed or anything, so it made a perfect natural edge bowl. So really enjoy doing bowls like this where it gives it a little bit of character, and that walnut oil just really makes the grain pop. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. So next weekend we're gonna do a regular video, but we're also on Saturday gonna do another one of the Zoom demos. I will put a link on Facebook and Instagram to that. So if you want to join in, chat, it's live. You can ask questions, and we get a lot of questions about the stainless steel inserts and the brass inserts. So I'm going to do a pizza cutter handle and a bottle opener. So I'm going to use both the inserts, walk you through step by step, using both of them and what's the difference. So I will have a link on Facebook and Instagram to that live demo. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Everybody take care and have a great weekend.